Welcome, everybody. Welcome. We're just going to be talking about music business. I worked all day this morning. I guess not all day, but I worked this morning. Now we're going to do some more before I get going for today. We got original music playing in the background here. And I'm trying to stream through the TikTok Live Studio platform and application, but it keeps booting me out of there, so we're going to try and pause. Cool. So we're going to try and do that today. We're streaming from TikTok on the phone, and then we're going to be streaming live on YouTube as well. So I don't even know how you check these things. This is all brand new. Today's day number, see, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Today's number 5. Live streaming for at least an hour today. So yeah, if you're up for it, stick around. We'll talk about music business. If you can log into YouTube and see me live, I'll be showing my screen. That's the whole reason I'm doing 2 of these. I want to show my screen because I have a wheel you choose. You just select the wheel, it spins, and then it selects the topic that we'll be discussing for the next 15-20 minutes. And I have visuals for everything else on the screen, but see if I go to YouTube, is it going to tell me I'm live or not? I'm not used to... Oh, cool. So it is live. Cool. So yeah, I'm not used to talking to the camera, talking to myself, so this is all brand new. It's a lot of fun, but we're going to just roll with the punches. There's going to be a lot of mistakes, a lot of messed ups, but I'm cool, looking like an idiot here. Alright, so... I don't know, I guess we'll just kind of chat, hang out until people get on. I know there's a couple people coming up later today. It's about 1:30, so I got some time for that. When I was setting up this live, it suggested that I set up a live event, so I did that through the TikTok app. And then it suggested the time, so it said 1 o'clock. That was cool, so I did that. And then it suggested an hour and 40 minutes, so I'm going to see if I can do 2 hours today. Yesterday, I did an hour and 19 minutes. The day before that, I think it was like almost 40 minutes, wasn't that long. So it goes by pretty quick. Just have to get used to constantly talking. I don't do that much, but it's a good skill to practice, What's wrong with that? It's not like I don't know how to have a conversation or carry a conversation or start one, introduce myself, stuff like that. It's just a matter of I live alone, I don't walk around in my apartment talking to myself, so it's like a whole different thing. But this, I don't know if it's, I don't know if I'm reading that forward or backwards, but this will be my weekly schedule. Mondays we'll be talking about, oh, by the way, YouTube, I'm over here on my phone streaming through TikTok and talking to them as well. But for you guys as well, and ladies and days, you can check it out right here, my weekly schedule. It'll be Monday, the news and kind of what's on throughout the week. Maybe current events in my city. I'm in Minneapolis here. And then we'll just do a casual chat. And then Tuesdays will be the podcast, which I'm going to be starting here with Patrick pretty soon. Looking forward to that. That's going to be a business podcast. So on that one, we are going to be talking about music business, kind of the same stuff I'll be talking about here. Except I think so we'll have 2 people to go back and forth and kind of relay ideas and have, rebuttals and have a good conversation with. But what we'll be doing also, I think, is we'll be bringing on artists, and with those artists we'll suggest some tools and some strategies that they can follow and they can try for 30 days, and then we'll try to have them back at the end of that 30 days and see how far they've progressed with the suggestions and strategies that we have offered to them. I wonder if I can click on this. Cool, so it is showing me. So what happens if I put that on? Yes. No? Okay. So again, exactly how this is going to be playing out, because I'm on this side with YouTube. What's up, YouTube? And then we're over here with TikTok. What's up, TikTok? Moderation helps everybody. Okay, cool. So when I'm streaming live, do I have to be in my own live? I shouldn't be. Okay, so that's delayed. Do I have a chat in here? So again, this is all new, and I'm just going to be streaming live, figuring it out on the fly. I got no problem failing forward and trying this until I get it right. However, I thought there would be some things on the screen that are... So here's the chat. So that's in there, but I should be able to access... I should be able to access that in a different way, but... Interesting. So anyways, I guess we'll just kind of get started here. We're going to be talking about music business today. Hey, what's up, Victor? Appreciate you dropping by. We're going to be talking about music business. I am streaming on YouTube. I want to be able to reach both people on TikTok, grow an audience here, and then actually have YouTube where you can get the education and you can see what I'm streaming on the screen on the computer over here. I would be doing it all through TikTok, but it keeps booting me out every time I do that. I'm just kind of going over my weekly schedule. Mondays we'll be talking about music news, what happened in Minneapolis City. Tuesday we'll be doing the podcast. Wednesday we'll be doing what we're doing today, which is the wheel. It's having a group chat. Thursdays we're going to be doing game night, so I'm going to try and do some streaming. I'm a big fan of like Resident Evil, Doom. I've been playing Marvel Rivals lately. I just downloaded this new game called Blasphemous, so I think it'd be cool to check that out, stream on Thursday nights. Friday nights we're going to do the wheel again. Saturday we're going to probably try to do live music. Maybe I'll start streaming some of my songs, break down the DAW when I'm producing them there. And then on Sundays we're going to be back to the wheel. So I think the wheel's going to be at least 3 times a week, if not 4. It's the best way to get conversation flowing. It's the best way to keep topics, fresh and new. So let's go ahead and get started here. Appreciate you sticking by. Click on this wheel. See what we get. Alright, so it talks about... We landed on contracts. So let's talk about contracts, music contracts. If you want to go over to YouTube and go over to BSJ Music Pro on YouTube, you can see what I'm streaming on there, and I will break down the contract and service agreement that I use with all of my clients. So once you're... Contracts can be a scary thing, a lot of musicians, they hear the word contract, and then they're immediately taken aback, or their guard is up. With all due respect, you need to have your guard up, absolutely. And they're scary. I understand why contracts are scary. Contracts are scary because they can get you into pretty bad situations that you don't know how to get out of. They can feel trapped. So it's best to have an attorney. I'm not an attorney, and this is not legal advice, but it is good to have an attorney, somebody on standby, somebody that knows how to read the contract and then tell you what's in it that you should be wary of. I should go grab the papers and the grab it real quick. I'll be right back. 1 second here. So this is my little graduate folder from Full Sail. See that there? See that? So this is my diploma and certificate, but I also kept a record of all my courses. That way I can show people what I've been talking about. And when it comes to contracts, let's take a look here. So Introduction to Online Management, Fundamentals of Political Science, Mechanics, Overview of Business Media. Okay, so look, Overview of Business Media Entertainment, 8+. digital literacy A+, psychology A+, fundamentals of physical science A+, blah blah blah, business law, I got a B+ in business law stuff. Word, but where's the contract and negotiation? Where's the funds? Artist management, A. Music business law, contract negotiation. There it is. It's right down here in this bottom one. Business law and contract negotiations. Got myself an A on that one. So that I'm pretty proud of. That's again, I'm not an attorney. I'm not here to give it legal advice, but I can recommend. Hopefully that's not information that people take at this small grades. But anyways. Again, not an attorney, but I do know what's in a contract. I know what to look for. I know how to read one. I know why they're scary. I know exactly why they're scary. So it's good to have somebody, if you want to reach out and just have questions about general contracts and how they work. I'm happy to just kind of answer general questions. I help my friends out quite often. I've written contracts for people. But again, I'm not an attorney. This is not legal advice. But I'll break down the service agreement that I use so that way you can see how it is that I approach helping my clients here. So this is a general service agreement. The service agreement is entered between the date and between myself, BSJ Music Pro, as a consultant, and then into with the example artist, name is the client. So number one is the scope of services. The scope of services does outline what I am providing for the client. So me as a consultant, I agreed to provide professional services to the client, which may include, but these are not limited to, music business strategy and coaching, catalog organization and metadata preparation, electronic press kit or EPK and one-sheet development, target lists, research and sync related guidance, platform setup and profile optimization, pitch creation template, action plans and strategy roadmaps, and networking and relationship building and coaching. That's a pretty defined outline of what I'm able to help and provide artists when they're coming to me with questions or they need advice or they just don't want to simply do the work. That's where I excel. Because if you don't want to do the work, I'll come up with a plan for you. We'll settle on an agreement, and I'll take over with the daily tasks that you don't want to handle. I have no problem doing those. That's what I like to do. I like to write. I like to build up plans, strategies. I'm creative with those. It's almost as fun. Business is just as much fun for me as making music. And so I have a lot of fun helping other artists. And I try to make it fun for them as well. And that's why I'm doing this. Try to gamify it, turn it into something that people actually want to be a part of. They're interested in it. They want to take part in their own career because they now see the benefit and the interest in having control over the business side of their career. So the scope of services, again, is what I'm able to provide for the client in a contract. It's what I will do as the work. Again, I'll go over these briefly. This is going to be music business strategy and coaching, catalog organization and metadata preparation. Maybe I'll break these down as I go through them too. So music business strategy and coaching. If the client's coming to me and they're saying, hey, I have a new song out or it's coming out in a month, I don't have any idea of how I should promote it. I'm happy to come up with a business strategy and a marketing strategy, or I'm happy to come up with one and coach you on how I would do it myself. Because I'm a musician myself, and I create and do my own marketing. With the last release that I did, I had 2 songs, and I made 30 pieces of content each, just myself, to promote the 2 songs. That way I have plenty of stuff over the next 2 months to just constantly put out there and say, hey, this is my song, it's coming out. All right, it's out. I can still use that content that I made, the 30 pieces per song, to promote that song. There's nothing more irritating to me than somebody that posts a new song, drops a song, and then just makes a Facebook post saying new song out now. It's just, to me, it's just lazy. It's not gonna get you plays. It's not gonna help you out. So meet with somebody, talk to somebody in your network, in your community. Ask them how they market themselves. Ask them if they have any other ideas other than just making a post that says click link in bio. Because that, I can't tolerate that. If you're just, I'm not gonna click on your link in bio. But if you have if you're doing a video and you're just saying, hey, this is me, I'm XX artist, this is my song, and this is the reason why I'm putting this out here, I'm 100 times more likely to click on that. So when it comes to music, business, and strategy coaching, I'll be happy to help people. I'll help them come up with plans. Next part I have in here is catalog organization and metadata preparation. This is a big one where people get lost and people don't know anything really about metadata that much, or how or why it is beneficial. But metadata is going to be something that is very beneficial, especially for those that are looking to get their music into sync licensing or film, video games, even on radio play, Submit Hub playlists. You're going to want to use metadata. You're going to want to understand metadata, how it works, how it benefits you, and how to do that with each one of your songs. You want to do it with every one of your songs. You're not going to want to put metadata on just one song and then just forget about it. No, you want to have a routine, and you want to have a roadmap, a plan of every time that you release a song. You put in your artist name, you put in the title. The other items of metadata are going to include the BPM, the key signature. Those should always be standard. You're going to want to put in any writers that are on there, so the people that wrote the music, the people that composed the music, and the people that wrote the lyrics, and then anyone that actually performed any of that on an actual recording. That's where your masters comes in, so you want to keep that. You want to have that metadata available for when anybody's asking for it, whether it's a sync agent or it's a press release or a PR person. You're going to want to have that information available. Other things in metadata are going to be like the mood, the feel, the types of lyrics. So if the lyrics are about romance or heartbreak, if the lyrics are going to be about running a business or driving a car really fast, you just got a new Tesla and you wrote a song about it, or you just bought a old Volkswagen VW Bug. I said Tesla and he left. I said Tesla and he dipped. I don't even have one. I don't think I'd ever get one either. I might drive one, but I don't think I'd ever get one. Anyways, so I was talking about metadata, the feel of the song, the timbre of the song, so the lyrics, that's what I'm talking about, so the mood, other things in metadata. Well, let's take a look. Again, I am streaming on YouTube and I'm streaming on TikTok. I'm trying to get at everybody from TikTok. If you're interested in what I have going on over here, then you can actually go along with me and see a visual of what I'm talking about here. So when we go to tags, we go in here, some of the metadata that looks very useful. So the genre, obviously. So if it's rock, reggae, punk, ska, country pop, Afro jazz, Afrobeat, new wave, synth wave, dub, whatever the genre is, or even subgenre, I would make sure to include at least one of each of those. Other things in the metadata you will include are the instruments. So if it's like a 5-piece band, you're going to include drums, bass, guitar, percussion, synthesizer, piano, anything that's in the song. So if you, even if you have like, there's not a violin player in the band, but you have a violin in the track, you're going to want to list violin in the metadata. That way if somebody is ever searching for songs that have violin in it, and maybe they type in the key that your song is in the BPM, your song is likely to pop up in that search. So that's one reason why you want to be able to, that's one reason why you do want to put that information in there. Lyrical themes, so again, if it's about breakup, if it's about, you know, heartbreak, if it's about driving fast, if it's about losing your job, if it's about getting a new dog, if it's about skydiving, whatever your song is about, you want to make sure that you put that in there. The mood, the feel, that would be more like, you know, if you're going for sync licensing and you want to get your song into like a dark, dramatic, edgy show, like what's the show? Man, I'm so out of touch. Oh man, I can't even think of one. What's the newest one that I watched? The Resident. So that's kind of like a comedy. So you know, you'd want to, if you had a song that was kind of upbeat, you'd want to put, you know, if it had lyrics that were kind of edgy, but maybe somewhat could be interpreted as a little bit funny, you might want to put in, you know, cool, moody, funny, quirky. So any kind of words that are associated with the feel of your song or the mood of your song. If it's aggressive, like my song Break the Chains is a song about breaking generational trauma. I'm an artist. I go by the Venetian method. My new song, Break the Chains, is a classic death metal song. I'm not a death metal artist, but I wrote a death metal song. And that song is brutal, it's aggressive, it's heavy, it's disruptive, it's chaotic, it's organized. So you can put all those things in under mood, under tempo, under feel. Sorry, not tempo, but tempo would be fast, you know, upbeat. And then type. So the type, let's see what we have under type. So under type we have, let's see, so if it would be like an instrumental, if you're a producer, you might put just instrumental or beats, if you just make beats like a producer. But if you're an artist, like a solo artist, and you're a singer-songwriter, you might put in guitar, acoustic, or if you have like a small verse in there, maybe you sing just an acapella verse. You could put acapella in there. Other types, you can put background vocals, choir, duet, clean lyrics, explicit lyrics, female vocals, male vocals. These are all tags you can put in there. Harmonies, you can put a specific language. You could have whispering if it's in there. These are all types of tempos that you can put in there. Under type, you could have like advertisement, you can have commercial, driving, easy clear, focus track, mainstream, one stop. That's probably a really good one to have as one of your metadata tags. Recognizable. If it has samples, make sure that you're tagging that it has samples, because your songs, if they have samples and they're not cleared, it's going to cause problems later down the line. So make sure if it does have samples, 1, they're cleared, 2, make sure that you include that in your metadata. So that way the sync licensing agent or the supervisor does not have to worry about coming back and tracking down where that sample came from. They'll know exactly what song it was, who that person that made the song was, and they can go directly to you and ask you if you want to get paid. You're trying to get paid, right? You want to make money? That's right. That's why we're here. We're here to make money as musicians, right? That's not why we make music. That's not why we make music. That's not why you're an artist. That's not why you picked up the guitar or the drums, or that's why you sing. I get it. But that's why you don't do it as a hobby, right? Right? We're here to do it other than a hobby. You want to make money from your music? Then we're going to do this. We're going to get our stuff together. We're going to get our food in a group. Our processed food in a group. That's what we're going to do. So contracts, let's go back to the contract. That was metadata. electronic press kit. That's a fun one. So scope of services inside of the service agreement that I would be providing for my clients. I do make electronic press kits for them. I'll show you an example real quick of what that looks like. We won't go too much into detail because this is about the contracts right now. But the EPK stands for electronic press kit, and that's something that you would use when you're sending out music to, again, music supervisors, radio, festival owners, promoters, booking agents, anything alike that's going to require an EPK. So on the EPK, you can go over to my YouTube. I'm streaming live. You'll see what I'm showing on the screen. That's why I'm also not looking here 100% of the time. I'm also trying to look at this camera. So in an EPK, you just have like an example page, or like this page should stick out, band name, website, good picture, that's it. You're gonna have another page that'll have, this will be your one sheet, so they'll know everything about the band on one page. That'll include the band name, a great image of the band that shows everybody clearly performing their instruments if can, or a good band shot. Notable achievements, so like how many streams they've gotten across all their platforms, if they've won any festival awards, or if they've won any awards, or if they played any notable festivals, if they performed alongside any notable artists, if they currently have any songs or circulating in TV, radio, or film. Sorry, I guess these are kind of TV, film, ad, games, placements, if applicable. And then how they've built their growing community, kind of like what I'm trying to do here. It's going to be really rough at first, really rough. I'm just hanging out by myself. I got the visualizer over here, I got the visualizer over there, I got the cool lights in the background, which is just not cool, it's just one light. It's going to be pretty rough for a while. But I'm cool doing this. So anyways, so we have that, and then over back to the EPK on the one sheet, you are obviously going to include the band's biography and description, links to their website, links to their store, and then any media press releases. So if they have like an article online that's written up about them, you'd want to include that here. If they have a music video, I would also include a watch now section. It doesn't have to be exactly like this, but somewhere that somebody can click on it and see a most recent music video. And then obviously all of their social links would be there. And then in more detail, I'll go on this later, but this is everything that's involved with the press kit when I create those for my clients. Back to scope of services, number one, this is scope of services for the work that I do for my clients. This is just a general service agreement, how I approach working with my clients. And so we've covered music business strategy, we've covered catalog organization and metadata preparation, and electronic press kit we just finished with also one sheet development. Next we have target list research and sync related guidance. So that one's a little bit more complicated to go over. I'll just talk about target list research. That is if we'll say that you're a ska reggae band and you have 3 new songs out this year, and you guys are from, I don't know, let's put you in Colorado. So we'll say target list research, you know, your songs aren't too long. They're like 3.5, 4.5 minutes, so they're radio length. I would start looking up, you know, like skateboarding game, you know, EA games that make snowboarding, or skating games, racing games, any company that makes those types of games. I would go to LinkedIn, look up the supervisor for those people, see if it's in alignment with your goals, and kindly, you know, send them a message, seeing if they might have any need for reggae music. Another thing you could do is you can go online, you can go to Google and type in, you know, you could type in like wanted reggae music. See if there's any libraries that are currently in search of reggae artists. I'll say that you're a punk rock band from New York and your music is like old school sounding and like retro. Well, I would talk to anybody in the New York Film Festival or the 48 Hour Film Festival and see if there's anyone local that needs original like punk, New York punk music. Connect with the local filmmaker and make a relationship that way. And then slowly over time you'll be able to, hey, we have more music coming out, and they'll reach out to you. They'll find you. They'll be like, hey, I remember that time that we worked on the 48 Hour Film Festival. We weren't able to get you that much that time, but we really liked your music and really liked how the relationship working with you was super easy. Everything was great. And so we have this opportunity. We're looking to use your song worldwide, or at least nationwide. 6 to 9 months, you'll be paid $250,000, and we'd love to have you be a part of this project. And that's because you worked with somebody and you built that relationship. And that's part of, target list and research, I guess, like find out who your targets are. This is a business. You're taking this as a business, not just a hobby. So find out where your audience is, but if you're looking to get into playlists and look at this as a business, then you're actually looking to do, hey, what's up, Tony? Hey, what's up, Patrick? Yo, what's up, friends? I'm talking about target list research and sync-related guidance right now, and how people can go about looking for music libraries. And like I just said, if you're a New York punk band and you're looking to, oh yeah, I can share this, nice. If you're a New York punk band and you're looking to get your songs into, a TV show or a movie, hook up with the New York Film Festival. Go online into Facebook and look up people that are in your local scene looking for that type of music. Minnesota has a 48 Hour Film Festival. Those people are always looking to connect with local musicians and get their music onto their films, and that ultimately is going to get your music out there as well. Hey, what's up, Wasted Youth? Thanks for joining us. So what I'm doing today is streaming on YouTube live, and then we're streaming on TikTok. On YouTube, I have the wheel. We clicked it, we spun it, we landed on contracts, and so I'm breaking down the way that I approach contracts. Again, this is not legal advice. I'm not an attorney, but I did show everybody here my report from school, from graduation, and I got A in my contract negotiation and writing classes. So it is something that I actually Anyway, so it's something that I'm really proud about. I know I understand contracts pretty well, but again, I'm not an attorney. This is not legal advice. I'm just going through how I approach contracts with my clients. First, we talked about music business strategies and coaching. We talked about catalog organization, metadata preparation. We just finished electronic press kits and EPK and one-sheet development. And now we're talking about target list research and sync-related guidance. And so, again, find out where your music fits. If you are a ska reggae band, it might not be best suited to try and get your song on the next James Bond or the next, Lord of the Rings action movie. I don't think that would be the most fitting. I don't think reggae existed during Voldemort or whatever. I don't think that's even the same movie. I have no idea. I don't watch it. But anyway, so figure out where your music fits. That's an important thing. If your music has synth elements and like a 4 on the floor bass that keeps driving, maybe you're in a video game. Maybe video games would be a good fit. Maybe try and go for like EA games or smaller, like a phone company that's making a new game on a mobile app. Reach out to them, see if you can get your song into their catalog. So I think it's most important to find out where your song, not where you think your song fits, but where it does fit. You can also go to like movie trailers and find out who developed the trailers. There's these production suites called trailer houses. Excuse me a minute. So So yeah, there's these production companies called trailer houses, and that's their whole job is to create and make music, or the trailers for movies and film, TV shows and such. So go to YouTube, look up your favorite movie or a movie that you think your song would fit in, and watch the trailer for it. Go to the bottom, go to the description, find out who produced the trailer. Go to that person's, LinkedIn or Facebook or whatever, and don't harass them. Don't just cold message them, but leave a comment on their stuff, or go to where their work is and actually engage with some of their work on their Instagram or on their TikTok or whatever, and slowly build that relationship. And then, hey, by the way, I'm an artist. I have some music out. I think it would be really good. I see you're working on this new show. There's a show called From on Amazon, and it's such a great show, but you gotta wait 2 years for the next season. And the music on that show is pretty obscure, so there's a lot of bands that have an opportunity to reach out. I doubt that all the editing is done, and I doubt all of it's finished, so there's probably a chance to get some of your music into a show like that. So go to imdb.com, look up who the music supervisors are, look up who the sync agents or the reps are, and make a relationship there. That's my both target list research advice and my sync related guidance. If we were to do like a one-on-one, I would break this down over 1 or 2 meetings with you. We'd have about an hour-long meeting each, and we would find out where your music fits, we would find out the targets, and then we would come up with a plan on how to approach those people and how to foster a relationship. Okay, so back over to YouTube. That was target list research and sync related guidance. Next, we'll talk about platform setup and profile optimization. This one's pretty important. A lot of musicians that I have seen online or that I've worked with in the past, they have duplicate postings on their Instagram, especially ones that have flyers and ones that have like posters for upcoming shows. You'll see 3 or 4 of the same posts with that flyer, and that's okay. Go ahead and keep posting them, but when you go to your feed, just archive it. Go to the 3 little dots, go to your Instagram, go to your TikTok, whatever, go to your feed, and if it's on TikTok, I think you have to go to the 3 dots and then go to settings, privacy, and actually make it private. But if it's on Instagram, you can archive it. And when I'm going, you don't want to have multiple of the same thing, because we already saw it. You don't want to waste that space. This is real estate. It's visual real estate. So you want to make sure that you're optimizing and making it the most effective. When I go to your page, when I see your Instagram or your TikTok or your website, whatever it is, I don't want to be flooded with information. I want it to be I want my eyes to be led to where you want me to see. I want you to see what it is that you want me to know. Sorry, there's a small fly in here. And then I want a brief description of what I'm seeing. That's about it. If it's a product and you want me to buy it, what's the product? How much is it? What is it? If it's a music video, what's the title? And where do I go? If it's a photo, just tell me where the photo was. It doesn't need to be complicated. If it's a flyer, those you can get cool with, get creative, get really, and innovative with your flyers, but don't have multiple of the same flyer on your feed. It's wasted real estate. It's not benefiting you in any way. It's just taking up space that you need. Put a picture there of you smiling or something else instead. You don't need to be wasting that space. We're on platform setup and profile optimization. Other ways to optimize your profile is like if you're on Instagram and it says, and you're an artist or producer and you already have that tag selected, don't type an artist after again so it says artist. Just put in your name or whatever you do or whatever. And don't say link in bio, because the link's already in the bio, so they know that. So you don't need to be redundant. Try to remove redundancy. Excuse me. Try to remove redundancy, because it's wasted real estate. That's your. I go to your site, You have 3 seconds to keep me there or not. If it's a page, why would I be reading your bio unless I'm going there because of interest? So, don't waste that real estate. Just make sure that it's optimized. I want to know who it is, what you are, what you're doing, and why I'm visiting you. When it comes to your website, it's very similar. Let me go to my website here. I'm going to go back over to YouTube. And again, I appreciate you being here, especially my homies. It's going to be rough for a while. I don't know. My cadence is going to pick up and slow down. I'm going to have to get used to having a talking rhythm. I'm talking to 2 cameras because I'm streaming on YouTube and on TikTok. Trying to cultivate an audience here, bring them over to YouTube so you can be educated and see exactly what it is I'm talking about. I have a schedule here. This is what I'm hoping to do every day. Monday we're going to be talking about the news and what the week is, what's been going on lately. I'm going to try to keep it with Minneapolis, our home city here. Tuesday we're going to be doing the podcast. That's me and you there, Patrick. Looking forward to that. That podcast is going to be music business related, and then hopefully we'll be interviewing artists, giving them some plans and strategies, and then bringing them back after a couple of weeks and seeing how they're doing. Wednesday we're going to be doing group chat and the wheel. That's what we're doing today, is the wheel. If you go over to my YouTube, you can actually see the wheel as we spin it and choose a topic for the night. Thursdays are going to be game night. I'm a big fan of Doom, Resident Evil, Marvel Rivals. I've been playing Blasphemous. I like the Alien games. So anything like that, I'm going to try streaming and just hang out with people casually on Thursday nights. Friday, we're going to do the wheel again. If you go to my YouTube right now, you'll see the wheel. Saturday we're going to be doing music, so maybe we'll just be doing live streaming of the music, maybe the DAW if we're not hanging out with the homies. And then on Saturday or Sunday we're going to go back to the wheel. That's for that, guys. Sunday we're going to go back to the wheel. And so what we're talking about right now, so we spun the wheel, we landed on contracts. I've been talking about the service agreement that I use for all of my clients. We've talked about music business strategy and coaching. We've talked about catalog organization and metadata preparation. We chatted about electronic press kits and one-sheet development. We chatted about target list research and sync-related guidance. And we're currently on platform setup and profile optimization. I'm breaking down what it looks like with the contracts that I write for my clients. Again, I'm not an attorney. This is not legal advice, but I do recommend you get an attorney. Alright, platform setup and optimization. I was on my website. So we go to my website here. I'm an artist. I go by the Venetian method. I just released my first 2 songs, Break the Chains and Parable. If you go over to my website, you see the name, the Venetian method. You can get an idea right away of the colors that I like. I like a dark green, some of the tans and beiges. The whole theme behind the Venetian method is a painting style that was developed in Venice in like the 1600s or something. And it's a process. So you start with an all gray and white background, and you start building your foundation, and then you kind of build layer by layer by layer until you start adding, and it kind of has a 3D depth to the painting. And that's how I approach making my music. It starts with like an idea, a rough skeleton. It could be a riff, it could be a drum beat, it could be a synth sound, and then I just continue on building layer by layer from there. And that's how we end up becoming the Venetian method. Go to my website. Right now, you can join the resistance. What does that mean? Join the resistance? My whole thing with the Venetian method is like the world that we have and that we know now is falling apart because there's this other world, this multiverse, world that's merging into ours, and that is causing all this disruption and disharmony. And so if you join the resistance right now, you can actually learn about that. You can read the lore. I have a PDF, I have a Substack, I have a newsletter. You can read all of that, and I keep the audience and the fan very involved. That way you can be part of this universe and world that I'm creating as an artist. But anyways, you don't know all of that. You just get a join the resistance. So it creates that curiosity. What is the resistance? I don't know what that is. Maybe I want it, maybe I don't. But I'll check it out. Just put your email in, and you'll get an email walking you through on how to do that. But when you go to my website, again, it's not overly complicated. You're not overwhelmed with stuff. You just get the name, join the resistance, and get your free welcome pack. Okay, I'll do that. Put your in your email. You hit sign up. You'll be a part of it. I have home, music, and store. Pretty self-explanatory. Home is the page we're on already. It's got my one track on there that you can play for free. You can buy it if you want. And then if you scroll down, I have about me, basically a description of who I am, what I do, and why I'm making this music. And then I have some links to my websites and my social media. That's all I have there. That's my homepage. So for profile and web optimization, again, keeping it clean, simple, not overcomplicating it, not making the viewer or visitor feel overwhelmed. I don't want to go to your website and have to click out of 4 or 5 different pop-ups, or I don't want to have to go to your website and then all of a sudden figure out, what was I looking for again? Why did I go to this website again? Oh, to play a song? I can't even find the song. Whatever, I'm out of here. I'm done. I won't even try anymore. So yeah, that's that. So under music, I only have 2 songs out currently, so I have both those songs available. I would package them as albums if you have albums available. If not, I would just put your last 2 or 3 songs. Again, don't complicate it. Don't make the viewer feel overwhelmed. And then the last page I have on my website is the store. I kept it simple. I have 2 shirts and a sticker. I'm just starting, so I want to actually have physical inventory at one point, coming up pretty shortly here. But until then, I just have the Printful virtual store. You can order anything offline on there. But I only have 2 shirts and a sticker. Two different designs, one of each, and then I have 1 design of a sticker. Again, not to overwhelm, pretty simple. And so when it comes to profile optimization, I guess I can go to my Instagram and talk about profile optimization. So here's an important thing, is pins. Make sure to optimize your profile. You are using your pins. You can pin up to 3 things on your main profile. And by pinning, what that does is that leaves your pinned post on one of the top 3 sections or segments on your Instagram feed. So that way when somebody goes to your Instagram feed, the first thing that they are seeing is one of those 3 pins. You can have up to 3. For me, here's what I've pinned. I have pinned 1 video that says a brand new alternative rock artist bringing you something fresh. Sounds inspired by the 90s. That's me. I'm a 90s kid. Grew up in the 90s and 2000s, so that metal and that new metal stuff, that's rock and roll, that's home to me. I'm a classic 70s guy, 60s rock, 70s rock. But the stuff that I write, the stuff that actually calls home to me is like that new metal, that grunge, that 90s, that stuff is where I'm at. So that's my first pin post, is a video about my music, what the sound is and what you can expect. My second pin post, if you go over to YouTube, you can actually see what I'm displaying right here. And I appreciate you. I appreciate everybody sticking around. So if you go over to my YouTube, you can see me streaming here, and you'll see that I'm showing my Instagram profile, and what I'm doing is going over profile optimization. And so on this one, it's just a post about who I am. It's my favorite picture of, well, it's not that one, it's this one. And so my second post, you get an idea of who I am as an artist. So the first pinned post is what you can expect out of the music and the sound. My second pinned post is about who I am and why I'm doing this. So I'll just scroll through that quick. This is about me on the Venetian method. I'm breaking out as an artist myself. If you enjoy alternative rock and new metal, you'll enjoy what I'm building over here. I'd love to have you check it out. And then I show some images, and then I have some highlights throughout my career that I show. Get out of here, fly. All right. So the third one, the third pin that I have. This pin is more of one to build curiosity. When it comes to engaging with your audience, there's three main things to focus on. That is discovery, connection, and conversion. These are the three things that you want to focus on as an artist. So this here is more of a discovery post. It causes curiosity. It's a quick, cryptic message, and you can also hear my song playing in the background of that cryptic message. So it's discovery. It's like, oh, who is this? What is this? So discovery, connection, conversion. They want to find you. You want them to know who you are. That's discovery. You want to connect with them. So you want them, if they're new metal fans, if they like alternative rock, if they like new metal and heavy metal, they'll connect with me. So they discover me, they connect with me, and then I'll make a third one for conversion, where that's actually, hey, if you like what you've heard, go stream my song, go watch my YouTube, go play my video. So there's discovery, connection, conversion. You want to drill those into your head as an artist. Alright, so again, you scroll through my feed here, you will not see any doubles. This one is almost a double, which I probably should get rid of that. One's a video, and one is a slideshow, so I probably should switch that up, especially as I'm telling you this right now. But one is a video, one is a slideshow. I should still look at that. I'll archive this one as we're actually on here. I can't, I have to do it on the phone. So yeah, that's a good example of what I'm talking about. So as we're scrolling down, you'll see, like, that one's close too. One is one's a video, and one is a picture. And so that's something even I would be like, I see now where I'm like, that's wasted real estate. Why would you click on one versus the other? You're gonna click on one, not the other. You got two of them there. I'm bored. I'm gonna move on. So yeah, I would get rid of that second one. But I have a good mix of photos and videos on here, which is something I think most artists should do and are doing. This is only a month old, so it's just from August. I started this in August, so that's not that old there. I guess if we go to my actual feed, we could take a look at that real quick. BSJ Music Pro, so again, who I am, my music, and then this is the conversion one. So you can see, I guess there's not too many on this one either. Some highlights about who I am, what I've done. I used to take a lot of pictures of food. I'm still a big foodie. I cook all the time. I'm an excellent cook. I love to cook. Cook for my friends once in a while. And you know, that's part of who I am. So you can put that on there. What else? So that's part of profile optimization. Don't double post. Make sure you're focusing on discovery, connection, and conversion, and optimize the real estate. I would suggest here. All right, let's move on. So we have platform setup optimization. Next, we're going to talk about pitching emails and template creation. I got a whole nother hour to talk about this stuff. So let's take a little bit of a break. I'm still here. I need a break. Just a second. Let's make it. 1 second. I just need to pull this up. Oh my goodness, it just started downpouring outside. I can hear it outside. It's downpouring good. It's going good. Alright. Anyways. We are talking about contracts today, and I've been talking about platform. So far we've discussed music business strategy, coaching. We've discussed catalog, organization, and metadata preparation. We've gone over electronic press kits and one-sheet development. We have talked about target list research and sync-related guidance, platform setup, and profile optimization. And we're going to chat about pitch email template creation. Okay. Don't use chat. Don't use Grok. Don't use Gemini. Don't use AI to write your emails. Don't. They know right away. You're going to leave in your M dashes. You're going to forget that it says, I hope this message finds you well. Don't sound like AI. Don't use AI to send an email. If you're trying to make a connection with a sync agent or somebody that in the music industry and you're writing them an email, make it short. Make it 3 or 4 sentences max. Right to the point. Hey, my name is BSJ, and I'm trying to connect with you. I really, really like the last product you put out. If you have any advice, or whatever your question is, if you have any advice, or if you have any openings, or suggestions, or whatever it is, just write a real email. There's not much to say here. Just don't use ChatGPT. We're going to move on. I mean, an email template, you need your name, you need their name, you need the subject, and, have a good signature. Put in, thank you for your time, or whatever, and then your phone number and contact information. That one's easy. Action plans and strategy roadmaps. So when I'm working with my clients, I'll build them a 30-day action plan and a roadmap. Basically what to do each day during those 30 days, and by the end of those 30 days I'm hoping that if they did that, follow it exactly, they will have some type of movement or improvement in their career. Again, this is work. This takes work. We're doing this for a job. We're doing this. If you want to do it as a hobby, you're winning. If you want to take music and do music as a hobby and get paid $25 or whatever, you're winning. You're already winning. If you want to start getting paid so you can do this as a full-time career, it's going to take some work. It's going to take you messaging 100 people a week, minimum. You're going to have to reach out to people. You're going to have to be cold calling. You're going to have to be putting yourself out there. So, if you're working with me, I do make you an action plan to follow. Again, if you're an artist, you want to focus on discovery, connection, and conversion posts. It doesn't have to be just a social media post. It could be an email. It could be just you reaching out to a friend that you know in the industry. Discovery. Hey, by the way, I'm here. Did you need somebody that does guitar work? Connection. Remember that last time that we hung out and we came up with that song? And that song, you heard me. We were playing in the same key. We were really grooving. Connection. Conversion. Hey, why don't you go over to my song and listen to the new one I just posted? You're going to love it because of that last time we connected. Or if you're trying to get work, hey, that last time we connected, would you listen to this demo I just made? If you have any work for me, I'm looking for session work. If you have any artists that you're working with and they need a guitar player or a bass player or a saxophonist or a drummer or whatever you do, make that connection. Put yourself out there. And you can't just do it once. You can't just do it twice. You got to do it every day. Every day you got to be doing that. Action plan. I'll make you an action plan, but are you going to follow that action plan? Are you going to put in the work? Are you going to do it for an hour a day? You're going to set an hour a day. Every day. Every single day. 7 days a week. After you worked, before you worked, fighting with your girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, wife, our dog, whatever, something happens to your family, pet. There's things that are going to happen in life, and those are unavoidable, and obviously we all have, there's obviously exceptions, but are you going to take this seriously? Are you going to do this as a full-time job? Are you going to work on it an extra 12 hours a week? After your full-time job, you work 40 hours a week, put another 20 and work 60 hours a week. See where you're going to be at in 5 years. An action plan will help you a lot. It'll help you stay focused. Knowing what you want to do, knowing what you need to do every day for the next 2 weeks is going to be a game changer for you. If you have a plan and you know exactly like, hey, today I need to post about this, or today I need to work on this verse. In order to finish the song, I need to finish this verse by end of week. So in order to finish by end of week, I need to work on it 20 minutes today, 20 minutes tomorrow, and 20 more minutes the next day. And that should get me where I need to be. That's an action plan. That's a strategy roadmap. Do you have one? I'll help you with one. All right, let's move on. We have action plans and strategy roadmaps. Excuse me. Next, we have networking and relationship building and coaching. It's kind of what I'm talking about this whole time. Networking, building a relationship, doing more than just the bare minimum. You have to do more than the bare minimum. You don't have to. Screw it. Don't. It leaves more work for me. Let me do the work. You do the bare minimum, and I'll do the rest of it. I got you. You just sit there, you just play music, you don't do anything else. Just show up. That's all you gotta do. You just show up, perform. I'll do all the other stuff. I'll do all the other stuff. I'll do your marketing, I'll post it for you, I'll schedule out the whole month of posts. So you don't even have to post, it'll just automatically be done. You don't have to do anything. You just have to show up, and that's it. I'll do the rest of it for you. But you do have to pay me. You will have to pay me good money. But it's a lot of work. It's a full-time job. But you're not doing it full-time. So anyways, that is the scope of services during a contract, what I provide for my artists, my clients that I work with. If you go over to my YouTube right now, I am streaming on YouTube and on TikTok. I'm trying to cultivate the audience on both. I'm educating them on YouTube and having a conversation over here with you on TikTok. So if you play an instrument, if you are a music person, let me know what you do in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Next, during the contract, the second part of the contract will be the terms of service. So the terms of service are going to be, this agreement shall begin on the effective date listed above and shall continue until the completion of services unless terminated earlier in accordance with, and then you put in whatever it's according to. It said live will end, live detected, what? Don't quite understand, but okay. Anyway, so that is the terms. Terms of service are pretty standard. It's just basically how long the contract is going to be. If it's going to be 1 week, 7 weeks, 100 weeks, 1 year, 1,000 years, whatever. That's the terms of service. Next, we'll move on to the client responsibilities. So in the standard service agreement, when I'm working with a client, I'll say the scope of services, that's what I do, and the client's responsibilities. So in this instance, there's certain information and stuff that I need access to in order to create those work plans for them. So I would need audio files, pictures, images, any project-related assets, so like videos, music videos. I usually take background information such as like bands they've been in before, studios they've recorded in, any notable achievements, their career history, and then finally any login information that we keep private between you and I. I have a secure folder that I keep that information in, and then once we're done with our plan, I give you that folder, you can delete it as needed. Number 4, we have compensation. So the fourth part of the service agreement will be the compensation. This is how I'm being paid and how payments are being received, or if I'm paying you for your services and how you are receiving your payments. So the client agrees to pay the consultant a total fee of X amount of dollars as the service is outlined, and then a deposit of X amount of dollars is due prior to commencing of services. So we'll come up with a plan, we'll have a meeting, we'll talk to you for an hour or so, we'll discuss what your main goals are, and then from those main goals we'll come up with a 30-day action plan, and then we'll come up with a service agreement. I'll send it over to you. In the agreement we have a set price, a deposit is made. Once that deposit is made, it then begins me starting your services. Then I can actually start working on your project. That's how, if you're a session player and you're trying to get session work and a band comes to you and says, hey, we need somebody to do a solo, here's the scope of services, we need 2 guitar solos on these 2 songs, then you would say the terms of service is going to take place for, terms of service for 2 weeks, it needs to be done within. The client's responsibilities, so you're responsible for, so in that situation, if I'm the session player and the artist, you are the band, then as the client, you would be giving me the files for me to play over. And then you would be paying me the deposit. Once the deposit is done, I will start services, and then we'll move forward once I send you the final files, then you make final payment. Once final payment has been made, that completes the end of the service. Ownership and rights, number 5. So the client retains all Clients retain full ownership of all intellectual property, music, and creative works provided. I keep no rights. I have no rights of any of your stuff. I come up with a plan, you follow the plan, your stuff is yours, that's it. I keep my own stuff. The consultant retains ownership of proprietary frameworks, templates, tools used in delivery of service. So again, the way that I organize my Google Drive, all of my disco platform, or the disco platform that I use, any of that, how I use Canva, CapCut, the tools I use, that's all proprietary. I don't share that with you. I might tell you how I do it, but I'm not going to give you the tools and the templates that I use. I can share my CapCut profile with you. That does retain as my own intellectual property. But when I create something with that, I do not retain ownership. Even though I use my tools to make your stuff, I do not retain ownership over that either. And then the deliverables created specifically for the client, such as EPKs, research lists, email templates, those will become the client's property upon full payment. So again, once you send me the final payment, and you send me the final payment, I send you the files, we're done. Once it's done, we can still have a good relationship, you can still chat, be friends, but no more work should be asked unless, you shouldn't be asking me for more work unless there's something that wasn't as satisfactory and that was discussed previously, or you want some more work and are willing to pay for it. And this is just in a business context. I'm not talking about friends, I'm not talking about bands, I'm not talking about musicians, just in general. I'm not talking about just hanging out with your buddies. I'm talking about if you want to take this as a business. I'm talking about if you want to approach your music career, you want to make money from your music career that's enough to pay your bills, enough to pay your rent, enough to buy your mom a car. If you want to do those things, you need to approach this differently. You need to take this as a business. You need to have a system in place. You need to set time aside every day to do this. Alright, number 6, termination. So either party may terminate this agreement within written notice if the other party materially breaches any provision and fails to remedy such breach within 7 days. So during the termination agreement or termination clause, you can put in what you want and don't want in the termination, but most of the time it has to be, obviously within reason. So you can't just be like, if you're not done within 24 hours and no refund or whatever, that doesn't work. It's not good business practice. That's not how you build relationships. That's not how you get ahead with either party. That's not how you work. That's not how this works. The termination should be pretty clear. It's like, hey, this is the scope of the agreement, but if you get into a car accident, unfortunately, God forbid, and if something happens you can't afford because you have to make a car payment or you have to get a new car, whatever, you might have, I don't even know if that would necessarily qualify. That wouldn't really qualify. That's a bad example. Scratch that one. So if either party terminate this agreement within written notice, so yeah, if I write you a letter, I don't like this relationship, it's not working out, you terminate it. If I tell you and I complain that, hey, I don't like what's happening here and we're not vibing and you don't change anything, then we can terminate. And then obviously, yeah, I was gonna say, like, if you get into a car accident, God forbid, something happened, terrible happens, you lose a leg or something, we have exceptions for that, but we're just gonna avoid that. Again, I'm not a lawyer. This is not legal advice. This is just business advice. Confidentiality. So number 7, consultants agree to maintain the confidentiality of all non-public information received from the client during the course of this agreement. This includes unreleased music, financial details, and career plans. So again, if I'm working with you, I want you to have that trust that your information, your music, all of that stays with me. If you're working with me and like I know your producer, I might reach out to your producer and say, hey, I really like what you've done here, but I'm not sharing your stuff with any other people. I'm not putting your stuff on websites. I'm not going to be, hey, listen to this. I got a friend who's putting out a brand new song. You want to hear it real quick? No, I'm going to make sure that your stuff is respected, your privacy is respected, and that all of that is stayed confidential, especially during any type of agreement with that. You need to have complete trust in your clients and in your artists or whoever it is that you're working with. And they need to have complete trust in you. So confidentiality is very important. You don't want any leaks of new songs or anything like that happening. Hi, Mom. Let's see here. So number 8. So what I'm doing today is the same thing as yesterday. Spin the wheel. Today we're talking about contracts. I'm not a lawyer. This is not legal advice. But I did get an 8 in my contract class when I graduated. So, anyways, independent contractor relationship. Consultant is an independent contractor and not an employee of the client. Nothing in this agreement shall be construed as created as a partnership, joint venture, or employer-employee relationship. This is solely independent contractor. So I work for myself, and I'm helping you with your project. I don't work for you. you don't work for me. I'm working with you together on this project. I'm an independent contractor. You're an independent artist. I don't own your work. You don't own my work. We come together with the work that we have, and we create a plan, and we have a good relationship. We work moving forward from there. So yeah, it's not a partnership. It's not a joint venture. If that's something that they want to have a discussion with in the future, you can have a separate discussion with that. Don't confuse that with the same conversation. Make sure that those things are stayed separate. That way there is no crossover and there's no, did he say that, or did I say that, or did she mention this? No. If you're having a conversation about partnership or joint ventures or starting a business together, that's separate than, hey, I'm working with you as a contractor, let's mix it together. That doesn't work. Keep it done. That way you get paid for your work you're doing, and you're not going to get wrapped up into something that you didn't sign up for. Number 9, limitation of liability. So the consultant makes no guarantees or specific business results. The client acknowledges that success depends on multiple factors beyond the consultant's control. Consultant's liability shall not exceed the total fees paid under this agreement. So if you pay me $100, I'm not going to go rack up $100 of subscription fees and say you owe me for those subscription fees. The consultant makes no guarantees of specific business results. So if you are paying me $100 to write you, make you a promotional video, or a 1-page or whatever, that doesn't mean success of 100 plays or 1,000 plays or a guaranteed sync licensing. I do the work and I make sure I provide a product, and that product is what you pay me for. So I'm an independent contractor that's providing a service, provide a very specific service, and it's you to provide your own outcome. But I'm happy to help you with your 30-day plan, your actions, what to do every day, how to map it out. I'm happy to help you with all of that. Number 10 in the contract is going to be the governing law. So I'm in Minnesota. If we're working online and it's over the internet, we would put nationwide, or we would put both of our states, the client state and then the recipient's or the artist state. And then, whatever the laws are in each state, it's going to be in accordance with that. So as long as we're not violating any major laws, we should be fine there. And then obviously number 11 is the entire agreement. So this entire agreement constitutes the understanding between consultant and client, and supersedes all prior discussions, proposals, or agreements going to writing for it. So once this agreement is signed, everything that's in the agreement and the contract is what's agreed upon. Not necessarily, hey, by the way, I'll bring over a pizza on Wednesday as we're working together, and I forgot the pizza. You can't sue me because I forgot the pizza because I said it. It wasn't in the contract. The scope of work is what's in the contract, not our basic conversation. Conversation is great. We want to have a very clear understanding of what's happening during our conversation. But the contract, once it's signed, it's what's in the black and white paper text contract. So there's all of that, and that is that for service agreement. So yeah, let me know in the chat. Does anybody have experience with contracts or writing? Does anybody, as a musician, have a lawyer? You have an attorney that you contact on a regular basis, or just one on reserve that you only reach out to for special occasions? If you're watching this on TikTok, make sure you go over to my YouTube. I am streaming live on YouTube, so you can see exactly what it is I'm talking about. I'm trying to break this down one by one. But yeah, not many musicians that I know have an attorney. However, there's some options for you. You can always call them. They have pro bono services, and you can go over to their website and find an entertainment lawyer or somebody that's in your niche, music lawyer, entertainment media lawyer, the ones that make video games or whatever, and reach out to them and say, hey, I have a question about this contract. How much would it be to review? Or do you do pro bono services, and would you be willing to review it? What else? So there's that, and then oh, lawyers. Anybody have a lawyer? Yeah, there's not a lot of musicians that I know, obviously, because not many of them are doing this full time. We want to be doing this full time, but in order to do it full time, we need to be taking this seriously, and approaching this as a business. So that is why I'm here, hopefully helping my friends know and learn the things that they need to do in order to do this full time. Alright, so that was the service agreement. We're just gonna do one more wheel spin, maybe a couple more. It's been an hour and 20 minutes. Hour and 22 minutes, and I want to hit 2 hours today. So, well, it's pouring outside just a minute. Alright, we'll go over to YouTube so you can see. We're gonna spin the wheel here. And let's see what we get on the wheel. Anything but music. Alright, well, like I just said, it was raining, so we can talk about the weather. It's been kind of cool here lately. We've been getting the cool down. I'm for it. Fall is my favorite time of the year. I love the autumn and the fall season. I'm definitely a sweatshirt and hoodie guy. So any chance that I get to wear a hoodie, I'm taking that excuse. Okay, no problem, Mom. I'm just here for another half hour, chatting away. But yeah, anyways, the weather's good. Weather's a good thing to chat about, anything but music. I'm here streaming. Excuse me, this is day number 5. I'm just going to try to do this a minimum of a half hour every day. I'd like to do it a minimum of an hour every day. It's really not that hard. I am sweating a lot just by, constantly talking. It's not something that I usually do. I'm pretty reserved, so it's a lot of energy to be expelling and using my brain, trying to think about what to say and what kind of conversation to keep holding. Anyways, so yeah, anything but music. I have a car. You have a car? What kind of car do you drive? What are you going to be doing later today? Have you eaten lunch? Is your lunchtime? What do you think? What am I going to eat for lunch? What should I have for lunch? What do you guys think? Put something in the chat. Type in anything in the chat. What's the last thing you ate? Alright, YouTube. Yeah, so we got anything but music. Watched this movie together the other day. That was pretty interesting. It's kind of like a H.P. Lovecraft type movie. I don't know if anyone's ever seen the movie The Sound of Color. That movie is a trip. And Together reminded me a lot of that. It's kind of an interesting one. Oh, yogurt. Okay. Yogurt's good. I got some yogurt in the fridge. I got some honey flavored yogurt. I had some yogurt. It was pineapple upside down cake a couple weeks ago. I've been searching for that ever since. That stuff was really, really good. I really enjoyed that. Pineapple upside down cake yogurt. Hey, thanks for joining, Bersha. We're just talking about anything but music right now, so throw something in the chat. I know what's going on with everybody today. So yeah, so it's been raining here. We talked about rain, we talked about yogurt. I have a hole in my toe. Okay. Anyways, yeah, that's the hard part. It's pretty easy to talk about music. I know that pretty well. I mean, I can talk about movies and games, but like, I don't watch sports. I'm not really a sports guy. Politics, I'm gonna stay away from that on here. I'll stay away from politics and religion. I don't think that the algorithms like that too much unless they're trying to create controversy. And the only controversy I like is Prince. So there's that. And then I don't know, I went to the doctor the other day, I got my blood drawn. That was neat. Anything but music, huh? Yeah. So, put something in the chat. Let me know what you've been working on. Alright, we're gonna just move on from here. Alright, we're going back over to YouTube. We're gonna click the people again. Alright, revenue streams. That's fun. That's a fun one. Where does everybody make their money at? If you're a musician and you make money, drop a comment. Let me know where it's at. Can I go over to YouTube and check? There's nobody on YouTube. One watching, and that's me. Okay. I don't know if I'm being restricted on there. I don't think so. Anyways, so revenue streams. That's a fun one. So obviously you have shows and live performances. What else do we have? We have CD sales, album sales, physical ones I'm talking about. So when you're playing a live show, you can sell your physical CDs and albums. Merch, obviously, you got t-shirts and albums and hoodies and beanies and stickers and pins. And you can even do custom jewelry, you can do custom book covers, lighters, coasters. Custom coasters are really easy to make. You can sell those for a decent overhead over at your shows. So I'd recommend, anything that you can make physically with your own hands at a really low cost and sell it for a medium cost. So if you can make it for less than $1 and sell it for $4 or $5, you're gonna do that. Like coasters, you get a piece that can't cost you much to get a piece of cardboard, cut it into a square, and then maybe you get some. Hey, what's up, Tony? I'm just talking about revenue streams now. I'm talking about merch and how people can, like you said, like I'm saying, like coasters. You get a cardboard, cut out the right size square or circle, or whatever shape you want. Get some construction paper or some decent types of designs, wallpaper, whatever. Wrap it up and then plaster it or epoxy resin. And that's gonna cost you nothing for the cardboard. I'm sure you have boxes lying around. It's gonna cost you $3, or maybe it'll cost you like $12 for the epoxy resin, and you can make 50 coasters, and you can sell a pack of 5 coasters for $10. I mean, you just made $10, and it cost you 45 cents to make that. So, figure out things that you can make. A lot of people make earrings and jewelry. Those are pretty easy to make. Other things you can make, I would say, like I said, book covers, covers for people's iPads or phone cases. You can buy a bunch of blank phone cases and customize those yourself, and then charge a little bit extra because you designed them. And if I'm a fan of you, I'm going to be buying something like that because it's a memorabilia. It's something that nobody else has. It's something that I can show off to my friends. So yeah, just think about things outside of the normal that you can make and that you can sell at your next show. You should always have shirts and CDs or albums. You should always have those. And then another third item is like beanies or pins or hats, something, stickers that are for sale, something along those lines. Appreciate the rose. Hey, thank you. Thanks for the rose, Tony. Or mid music. And then other things you can make. What else can you make? So, like I said, book covers. Heck, what if you made custom like shoelace holders, or things that go on the end of your shoelaces? Those are easy. You can sell those for $4 or $5. A pair of them can't cost you that much to make. What else can you make? Yeah, so just think of things that you can customize. and sell yourself. You can have a higher price for something that you make yourself physically and sell, because as a fan, I'm going to want to pay, I'm going to want that, so I'm willing to pay just a little bit more, a little bit extra for that. And then of course, you can bundle your products together. So, a CD, a shirt, a lighter, and a sticker for 12 bucks or whatever. You have to figure out what your minimum valuable price is, and then package those together for that. And then you can create what's called self-actualizing offers, where if you create, like, let's say your shirts you sell for $10, your CDs you sell for $10, and the stickers you sell for $5. So it's $25 if you were to buy them all separate, but you sold them all together for $20. Well, that extra $5 that you're losing, that extra $5 you can make up by putting out an ad, and that ad will end up bringing people over, so the money you're saving will convert over and become a self-actualizing. That's a really bad example. I'd have to break down the numbers and explain it a little bit better. But you can basically bundle products together, and the money that you're saving by bundling those together, use that money to make an ad to promote that bundle, and therefore you're going to bring that back. So you're actually canceling out the money that you've spent for that ad while bringing in two more customers for that same amount of money. And so that's a really smart strategy to start doing, and that's going to work mostly through online sales and through your email marketing. That's going to be the best place to do that. Other things for revenue streams, so you got your live performance, you have your merch sales. Revenue streams you can have, obviously, if you license your music out, you can license it to TV, film, video games. That is called sync licensing. So when you're giving somebody else a license to use your music for a certain term of length that you're going to pay you, that's called a sync term. And when you do that, you're going to get paid money, and that's a revenue stream. And there's certain ways to target sync licensing, and there's certain ways to get your music into that revenue stream. So if you're interested in learning more, watch earlier in the video. We talked briefly about that. Or just come back tomorrow. I'll probably be chatting about it a little bit more. Another revenue stream that we can do, so there's performance, merch, sync licensing, lessons. If you're a musician or a producer or a saxophone player or a violinist or a drum maker or a beat maker, you can sell lessons, sell your skill services. Package, again, the best way to figure out what you need to make, or the best way to figure out how to price your services is to find out how much money you need to make as a minimum to support yourself or your bills as you want. Divide that by the amount of clients you can take per month, and then that's your minimum service price. So, what did we do yesterday? If you take, I don't want to do this now. Say that you need to make $2,500 a month, and you need to, you can only take on a max of 10 people per month. So then you're going to have to charge each person $250 to make that $2,500 a month. So that's a revenue stream right there. Services and lessons. Well, I would say lessons, sorry, just lessons. Another one would be services. So if you're a mixing or mastering engineer, if you're a session player, if you're a business coach like me, you can package your services. That's another revenue stream. Obviously, there's radio and radio play and streaming. So I'd say streaming, radio would be under one. Maybe under their own, it'd be like under one, but it'd have like its own little umbrella. Because there's like streaming up here, and then you have radio, and you have like streaming services like Spotify, Apple, Tidal, YouTube, all those guys. And they split up their royalties different. The people collect their money differently. You need to be registered with a PRO in order to collect the performance rights part of them. But then if you're trying to collect like your streaming and your streaming rates. Those are from, what is it? The ML Collective. Oh, I should have had this prepared. What is it that collects the... Status cap, and that's the... This is really embarrassing that I don't really remember it. Is it the MLP? No, it's not. Oh yeah, the MLC, I think. Yeah, mechanical licensing. So there's an actual separate company that collects just your royalties for streaming. So there's radio streaming, and that's your PRO, and then there's the MLC that collects your mechanical license royalties for streaming services like Spotify, Apple Music, stuff like that. So that gets pretty in depth. But that's two different streaming revenue streams you can get from streaming. I guess it's one streams as the revenue stream, but two different streaming platforms for that revenue stream. So stream on that, Mr. Streamer, as I'm streaming this live. Streamception. Streamception. Am I streaming in a stream? Am I streaming in a stream that's streaming? Am I streaming in your stream? Oh my gosh. Where were we? Revenue streams. Alright, so revenue streams. So we have performance, we have merchandise, we have sync licensing, we have royalties, we have services, we have lessons. What else is there for... obviously, I guess performance you can do, if you negotiate like a percentage of bar sales, that would be under, performance, I guess. And then, there's donations. There's always direct donations if you have that set up on your website, or if you have it set up on your, like when you're playing live and you have a donation hat or whatever. Those donations, busking, you can always do busking. That's always fun. What else is there for revenue streams? You can think of one. Throw one in the chat. Let me know what you can think of. Have I done them all? There's performance, merch, licensing, radio, direct to fan. I guess music videos, that's kind of like streaming. I guess, YouTube and stuff like that. If you, I guess streaming like I'm doing now. If you put yourself out there every day and stream as a band or an artist and you like live perform, you'll make money through streaming that way. So revenue streams. My leg is asleep. Oh my god, I hate this video. Oh, my leg's asleep. Okay. Anyways, alright, so let's click the wheel again. I'm going back over to YouTube. I got 20 more minutes and I've hit 2 hours. I think I can do it. I think I have it in me. Alright. Facebook groups. That's a good one. Facebook groups is great. One of my favorite things about Facebook groups is that they exist. Is that they're out there. So if you're an artist, if you're a musician, and you have a new song, and you just put text, new song out now, link in bio, click it here, I'm gonna fall asleep. I do not care. Like, I can't stress enough how much I don't care when you say, check out my new song, and it's just a text. Boring, underplayed, underworked. Give it some more effort. I cannot stress this enough. The more you continue, the more you put all this time and energy into making your music. You put all the, music is so good, it's going to connect with so many people. Like, nobody can make music like me. It's a banger. People are going to feel this. Listen to my new song now. Here's a text. Click the link. And that's it. And I never hear from you again. I never see anything again. Nothing. Why? Why? There's nothing more frustrating for me than that. So use Facebook groups. What you do is you make the same text, the same lazy ass post you've always been doing. But this time you can do just a little bit more work by going and posting it into different Facebook groups. And make sure that they're ones that are in alignment with your music. So if you're a jazz artist and, you know, you're a jazz clarinetist, and you're looking to get your new solo, you just put out a new song, like your band put out a song, and your solo's on there, and your clarinet player, your solo's awesome, you want people to hear it, and you usually just put new song out now and post it, and that's it. Well, instead of doing that, why don't you say, our band had a lot of fun recording this in XX Studio with XX Producer. We did it on this day and month, and I really enjoyed this part. And for anybody that wants to hear my solo, I do a shredded clarinet solo on here. And then you put your link and put a picture of yourself or a video of you playing the solo. And then you can post that into groups, jazz groups, unsigned artist groups, independent artist radar groups, jazz radio, college radio, clarinet groups, woodwind or brass. It's a woodwind, right? Clarinet. So woodwind groups. You know, find other solo artists that are similar to you. Find the groups that they're hanging out in Facebook, and then do that same post that you do and post it in a different Facebook group. And don't just do one, do like 10, 12, 15, 20 of them. Do 5 different ones a day. Is that too much work? Am I asking too much of you? I'm sorry. I'm not, I know I'm asking. I'm asking you to actually to work on your music career. And that's too much for you to do. I don't, sorry. But go into Facebook groups. Post in the Facebook groups. It's not that hard. I'm sure those groups. So another thing. So instead of just like Facebook groups, you can use the same strategy and apply that towards hashtags. So with the same mentality of like jazz group or independent jazz artist or unsigned clarinet or broken clarinet or clarinet with distortion, whatever. Type in a hashtag and then type in something after that. Go into those groups. It used to be able to follow hashtags. You can't follow hashtags on Instagram anymore. So what you actually can do is just go to the hashtags and you can see all the messages in the feed. And then you can just go and message people. You can comment on other posts. Just don't spam and say new link here, click link in bio. Just interact and be a human. Just meet people and link up, and then you'll make connections that way. I don't think you can do the same thing in TikTok, but Facebook has been the most effective. I've actually found 3 or 4 clients through Facebook groups by putting myself out there. And I've definitely gotten some session work through Facebook groups, and I've met some pretty cool producers that way as well. So, again, internet's a huge place. No reason why you should be stuck in the little bubble that we're all stuck in when you just have to pop it and step outside of it. Alright, so we're going to move on from Facebook groups. I got 15 more minutes. Appreciate you sticking with me, Tony. Mersha, I see you're on here. I appreciate you. If you make music, let me know in the comments. If you're a producer or a musician, or if you are frustrated with your music career, just say hi in the comments. I'm just here to chat with you. Just keeping it casual. I clicked and I got revenue streams again, so we're not going to do that one. Next we have revenue streams again. This is supposed to be random. This doesn't feel too random. I have like freaking like 30 different topics. And I did Facebook groups again. Okay. New artists. Good. New artists. So who's your favorite new artist, huh? One of my new favorite artists that's not local is Thornhill. Thornhill is freaking sweet. They're pretty unique. They're like a Deftones meets like Modest Mouse almost, like heavy but really ethereal with their vocals. Some screaming, some singing, mostly experimental. Really heavy guitars, new age drums. Yeah, Thornhill is one of my new favorite bands for sure. I love those. I love that band. Another band, Black Gold. Those guys are really cool. They're like new metal. I think like Linkin Park meets like metal. Um, and then Ladrones. Those guys are freaking sweet. It's like a Mexican death metal. Those guys are freaking sweet. Ladrones, Ladrones, Ladrones. Those guys are. It's like they're like Hispanic hate breed or Spanish hate breed. It's like chugging, a little bit of technical, but not too much, and then it breaks into like a mariachi beat for a minute and a half. It's so good. It's so good. Another one that I like that's local, um, Night Moves. Those guys are freaking awesome. Those guys have like a late 70s vibe, Minnesota band, classic rock and roll. Those guys are great. Reaping Asmodia. Those guys are brutal death metal, technical death metal, fantastic. Probably one of my, for sure, my top 10 favorite death metal bands for sure. They remind me of Archspire. If anybody likes Archspire, they kind of remind me of them. It's just very technical, fast, brutal, in your face, heavy as fuck. Who else we got that's local? New artists. I don't know anyone that's new. I saw this guy named Nerdy King last week. He was really cool. My friend Shane from Mizium Music and Sledge. He's fucking doing great. He's very talented. We got the homie Moonchi Sax. He's always doing good stuff. What other new artists do I know? Not too many new ones. There's me, the Venetian Method. I'm a brand new artist on the scene. I do alternative rock and metal, a little bit of hip hop, but mostly alternative rock. I just put out 2 new songs, Break the Chains and Parable, and my music video is just about finished. That should be done for sure by the end of the next week. I've already got it paid for and everything, so we'll just have to get the final product, and then we'll make a promotional. I'll do a promo campaign for that one too. You'll probably see snippets of that video for the next 2 weeks before I drop the full video, just to build up some hype around that. Other new favorite artists, the one I'm working with now, Brother John Band, very talented, some more awesome Minnesota talent. His stuff is again 70s rock, really hits home with those 70s riffs and some of that classic rock sound. That was produced by Sam Licari and Adam Lane from Minneapolis here, from Sweet Tea Studio. Those guys did a fantastic job on that album, front to back. I listened to that CD twice. The first time I put it in, listened to it all the way through. It was so good, I listened to it all the way through again. That's a really good album. It's called Dark Side of the Room by Brother John Band, so go check that out. Other new artists, I know this other guy I'm working with, Tom Brandt. His band Found Sleep, very talented. Kind of reminds me of like Opeth, kind of like the early 2000s Swedish progressive metal. Those guys are really cool. Tom Brandt, he's actually working in a band with my stepdad, and they're building some pretty cool stuff right now. Other than that, other new artists, yeah. Glass Eyes, those guys are really cool. Confuciusaurus, Roots Within, just a bunch of the homies, same circle that we all mess around in. So there's that. I got 10 more minutes. What else can we talk about? Let's do another one. I appreciate all of you sticking around today. YouTube, TikTok, it's been fun. All I'm doing is babbling. Alright, so we got music marketing. Cool. That's kind of what I've been talking about the whole day. Well, first we broke down the contract, and I discussed all the terms of services and the scope of services that I do in the contract, and some of that did include marketing. music marketing services. So when it comes to music marketing, what I said before, there is three main things to focus on: discovery, discovery, connection, conversion. Discovery, you want to know who I am, where I am, why I am. Discovery, who it is, this new artist. Discovery. Connection, why I like your music, why I should like your music, what interests me about your music or your personality. What is it about the thing I saw that I connected with, or that I discovered that I connect with? What did I see and discover that I connected with? After you connect with it, you want them to convert. You want to get them to click on something. You want them to open an email. You want them to go to your website. You want them to stream your song. You want them to watch your video. You want them to do something. That is conversion. We have discovery, connection, conversion. DCC. Discovery, connection, conversion. Yeah. Those are the core basics of what you need to focus on music marketing. I'm sorry, I'm not yelling at you, Tony. It's just you watching. But this is for anybody. Um, so yeah, music marketing. You need to focus on discovery, connection, conversion. I don't know who you are. Why should I care who you are? Make a cool video that's flashy. The first 3 seconds are the most important. So I need my attention. I'm overthinking about everything in my life, and then and so I pick up my phone and I'm gonna scroll through, and oh, cool. I'm now distracted from what I was just thinking about. For 3 seconds, you've held my attention. That is discovery. I have now discovered something, and it's held my attention long enough for me to want to know more. That's discovery. Now we're gonna connect. I liked what I saw, so now I'm gonna look at some more. What I'm gonna look at, I'm gonna go over to your page. Oh, that's cool. Oh, wow, I do that too. You drive a Honda Pilot? Me too. I like pilots. Those are cool. Hondas are cool cars. Oh, you like F1 racing? Me too. I like F1 racing. I watch NASCAR. I watch NASCAR. Yeah, that's cool. We connect on that. Oh, wow. You like moonshine? I like moonshine. Whatever. Or you like fucking, I don't know, Pokemon? I like Pokemon. Cool. Same thing. So now we've connected. So now I've discovered you because of your post. Now I've gone through enough of your posts that I've actually connected with you on more than just a music level. That's what you need. You need to connect with your fans on more than a music level. Yeah, they've already liked your music, and that's why they're a fan of your music. You want them to stay a fan, stay a part of your life, stay a part of coming back every day. You want them to connect. You want them to connect on the deepest level that you can, whether that's sports, entertainment, hunting, friendship, romance, whatever it might be. Once they've connected with you, it's like fishing, send it out there. Ooh, there's some bait. And this is just the business side. This isn't about, this isn't about like hanging out with the homies. This isn't about building relationships. This isn't about, you know, just performance or how to perform on stage. This is about approaching music business, your music career as a business, and how you're going to take it from as a hobby and only being paid $100 and wishing you got paid more to being paid full time doing this, supporting yourself every day and beyond. To do that, it takes a skill set, a mindset, and a set of things to follow, a set of like a roadmap. And when it comes to marketing, it is fishing and reeling. So you've got the discovery, you've got the connection, and now I need you to go do the thing. What's the thing? That can be whatever you want. It can be downloading a new MP3. It can be going to stream your song. It can be watching a music video. It could be watching a live stream. It could be buying a piece of merchandise. It could be donating to something. It could be anything. Conversion is the what part. So discovery is the who, the connection is the why, and the conversion is the what. So who are you? Why are you? And then what are we doing about it? So those are the most three important things when it comes to music marketing. Okay? Just the marketing, not when it comes to music performance or when it comes to recording in a studio. This is just the music marketing. So what else is there? Music marketing, a lot of people say that it's like you need seven, it used to be 3 touch points, and then 4, then 7, and now it's like 12 touch points before somebody wants to buy something, we'll just screw off and call it 10. So somebody needs to see or hear your song 10 times before they actually want to go listen to it on their own. Think about that. And you only post once. You say link in bio, new song out now, and you want a million plays, a million streams. But somebody needs to, we're flooded, we are so bombarded with information and advertisements and songs in the background and commercial for this and screens flashing for that, and it's just constantly. And so how would you even expect me to remember that you put a song out? How would you expect me to remember that you put it out? Because I didn't hear it more than once. I need to hear it 5 times, 6 times, 7 times, even a little bit of it, even on a snippet of a 30-second video, 15-second video. At least I've heard that enough times to go, oh, I recognize that. Maybe I'll go listen to it because it's stuck in my head now. You know, you send me your favorite song, you send me a new song that you're working on and want me to click on it, and I do, and then 10 seconds into it, somebody asks me something and I get distracted, so I put it down for just a second, and before I can go back to it, something on TV pops up, catches my eye, and then I'm already paying attention to that, and that song is stuck in my head that's on TV. So it's not like it's going to be one time I hear the song and all of a sudden it's my favorite song in the whole world. It's just not realistic. It's just not realistic. And so what we do here is we are taking practical advice and ways that you can actually turn your music into a full-time career, because you need discovery, connection, and conversion in order to have that type of success. I made it an hour and 58 minutes. I got 2 more minutes. All right. Let's close this. That's music marketing. Let me wrap it up with just, I appreciate everybody being on here today. This is my first time streaming on YouTube, my 5th time doing TikTok Live. I've been having a blast going on here, talking about my experience as a musician and what I do as a business creative. I don't know necessarily how to use all of these tools, but I am learning and I'm having a lot of fun learning about it. And when it comes down to showing up, I just want to be able to show up every day. It's not really that hard. It does take quite a bit of effort. Like I said, I've been sweating talking about this, kind of babbling, tripping over my own words, not knowing really what to say. But that doesn't really matter, because throughout the weeks and the days, I'll get better and better at it each time. I'll know how to stand and sit in front of the camera and exactly how to approach the camera. I'll have a better idea of how, I would like to interact with the chat on YouTube, but I don't even see the chat on there, so I'm not sure exactly if I'm doing it right. Maybe I'm doing it wrong. I'm not necessarily sure. So I can see myself on there. That's about it. So I think I've made it my 2 hours. I really, really appreciate you sticking around. I hope that you might have learned something here, but oh, yeah, thanks, Mom. Yeah, so I made it my 2 hours. It is 3 o'clock. I appreciate everybody sticking around. I'll be back tomorrow for another hour at least, so bye.